Hey Griffin, are you ready for a spooky story?
Oh, no, I'm not. I should go.
No, Griffin, I need you for the spooky story. Griffin, this is Until Dawn for the PlayStation 4. This is a new horror game coming out for the PS4. And we have a preview build that I've been playing. I cut together some segments from that build, basically to tell the story of one of the set of characters. You're playing a bunch of different characters, but we're going to look at Mike and Jess. So this is Mike and Jess.
They're all teens, correct? These are teens in early 20s.
Yeah, they're out at an abandoned cabin area having a party. Emily was being a real. That's what we're going to say.
Phil.
That's what we're going to say. And we're
man, this dialogue is off the chains so far.
You know what? I will say it's very awkward, but it's awkward in a way that feels somewhat true to hashtag teens.
I guess so. I haven't spoken to a teen in since I was one.
So you're seeing there's the dialogue stuff where you make dialogue choices that affected my relationship with Jess. There, it made me made her like me more. You can find these totems. This is one of the collectibles in the game. And when you find those, they give you little flash forwards of here's something that might happen, so that you have a little hint of what could be coming.
Can you use that information to keep people from dying?
Theoretically, but it's hard to say from this early preview build that we have. Here is something that's really cool. Every once in a while, the chapters, in between chapters, you're getting these segments with a therapist.
Okay.
And the therapist is talking about, he talks about the game that you're playing and makes you make choices here. Women definitely worry me. Is that...
Well, that goes without saying for you, Phil. So this is straight up shattered memories, right? Does it have consequences in the game?
Again, with the 2 or 3 hours of this preview build, it's hard to say for sure, but it seems like it will. As an example, there's one point where I was shown a postcard and I said that it freaked me out, and then I find that postcard in the game later on.
Okay.
In the actual story stuff.
I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. I think that was one of the coolest things about Shattered Memories, which I thought was a very, very cool game. And
I hope that it pays off. Again, it's hard to see, but I like these segments. I like how creepy the therapist is. And they're making you answer really weird stuff. Later on, they have a segment where I had to choose, which characters, out of all the characters, which do you like and which do you dislike the most? And it seems like that affects the game in some way. So there's some very interesting stuff going on here. I fear scarecrows, because I've been playing that Batman game.
God, why can't it be both? I fear psychiatrists.
Yeah, this guy's pretty creepy, as you're going to see here. Stop being a creep. So I do think this game looks really pretty, but it definitely has a little bit of that uncanny valley going on.
But that's spooky. I guess it's suitable. It's suitably spooky.
Yeah, yes. It makes me uncomfortable when there are close-ups on faces like that.
So they have dropped the PlayStation Move requirement, yes?
Yes, you can use motion controls using your regular PS4 controller.
Okay.
But there is no PlayStation Move stuff. So here, Mike and Jess are basically headed towards a cabin. They're gonna go be lovers in this cabin, away from everybody else.
Spoiler.
Which very horror movie
Oh,
stuff.
Phil, comfort it. Yes, please.
Yeah,
God,
I
would have hung up the Skype call.
I'm not gonna kill the deer. But so there is weird stuff. So they have a whole system that they call the butterfly effect system, which is these choices that you're making are sending the story into different cycles. Here's the first spooky thing that happened. That deer got snatched up by someone, and now you're seeing the actiony gameplay, which is just
QTs?
Yeah, QTs. Yeah, it's sort of heavy rainish in a lot of ways.
Taking a shortcut, huh?
Yeah. So the idea when I'm taking the shortcut is the QTs are going to be faster and a little bit harder to hit.
Oh, I see.
So I might get away faster, but also it's easier for me to screw up, and if I screw up, I might not get away at all. It seems like your actions are going to affect whether or not certain characters live or die.
Yeah, they've said as much. So the only thing I know about this game is I was there when they revealed it, I think at Gamescom a couple years ago, when it was PlayStation Move exclusive. And they've said, yeah, like, everyone can die. Everyone can die if you do a terrible, terrible job.
So there's another situation there where I could have not helped Jess, but because I did, that improves how much she likes me. She appreciates me more because I helped her, and because I took her side when she said that Emily was being a bad word.
A bad word, yes.
Bad word. A lot of bad words in this game. All right, so now we're at the cabin. We've calmed down. We're gonna get to business.
Is it the Predator? Is the Predator chasing you?
It is the Predator. That's a spoiler. This is a Predator tie-in. Have you ever done this in a cabin, Griffin?
I don't go to cabins explicitly because of this. Like,
because of the getting murdered.
Yeah, Young Love is great and everything. I recommended it if you're young, but the getting murdered part is a bummer. I'll go out on a limb and say.
If you're young, I recommend Young Love. Otherwise, not so much. But
no.
So we heard something happen here. We're gonna go check it out. And Jess has lost her phone previously when we were running. So her phone showed up. That's a little odd here.
What's
creepy.
playing? I can't hear that. But what was playing? Was it
just some hot tunes, some of the best.
Hot tunes to neck to.
How is it my phone?
So Jess is angry here. It should be noted, all of these friends kind of play tricks on each other. They play lots of pranks.
Hey!
So when something like this happens, she's assuming it's a prank. And she's yelling at her friends.
Is there a QTE for her to put clothes on if she's going to go outside in the snow? Because that's what's going to kill her ultimately. Is the hypothermia.
Well, you know what? By the end of this video, we might find out if that's what kills her, Griffin.
Oh boy.
We are reaching the end. We had a limit on how much we were able to show. But I will say, like, so far, I'm surprisingly really digging this. Like, it is.
I mean, it just seems like the best sort of teen slasher like game adaptation since Friday the 13th for NES.
Yeah. It's very much just a slasher movie.
God.
It's very much playing with all of these horror tropes. I mean, it's not just slasher stuff. Like, there's a point where you do a Ouija board. There's definitely some spirit ghost stuff. There's, like, those totems that you're finding are hinting at, like, oh, there's some, like, Native American stuff, which is probably questionable. It's questionable whether that should be in there, maybe.
Yeah.
But, but it's all, like, horror tropes, and it's playing with a lot of them. I'm really interested in seeing what it does. I'm interested in seeing if your decisions not only affect stuff like who lives and dies, but I'm wondering if, like, it might affect, like, who ends up being the bad guy at the end. Like, who ends up being the killer. I'm really curious where it goes, because there's definitely a lot of options thus far.
It's a cool idea. Like, I feel like I'm in the few people who actually liked Heavy Rain. Oh gosh. Oh geez. And I like that idea of, like, branching narrative and, you know, outcomes being different based on your decisions. Although I don't think Heavy Rain leaned into it quite enough. So
yeah, absolutely. And I like horror movies, so I'm excited to see a game that is playing with those tropes and hopefully doing something interesting with them. Here we're going to go after Jessica and see if we can end up saving her. We're making decisions as we run after her. I chose to do a shortcut there so that I would save time. Obviously,
you know what this kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of like an FMV game. Where, like,
Kind
if you don't do the things fast enough, then you die. And also sometimes there's like branching decisions, and the only way to get like the good ending is to know which are the right decisions.
No, absolutely. And if you screw up those things, that's going to affect what happens here. Here, rather than taking the shortcut, I decide to be safe.
A sensible solution.
And this may be a mistake in the long term. I don't want to spoil it. Yeah, let's see what happens here. We're inside. Where's Jessica? Jessica, where are you? And yeah. So what you're seeing there, that little butterfly thing, that's the butterfly effect.
That was terrible.
I messed up. I chose that shortcut, and it's showing me now. And there is no way to go back and change it, which I kind of appreciate. It's like, if you want to do it again, start a new game.
That's horrible.
It's real bad.
I have to look at that, Phil. You didn't give me a heads up or anything.
Oh, Griffin, content warning also.
Thank you. Bye.
This is Until Dawn. It comes out in like a month or two, and I'm digging it so far.
It's because you're a monster.